Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a reading with the energies that's circling around Kobe Bryant and Vanessa Bryant. Okay. I'm going to let you know what comes my way as it comes my way. We all know that this was very unexpected. His passing was very shocking and had a big impact on a lot of people. So I'm going to give it to you as I get it, okay? So initially I'm going to pull some cards. The first card that comes up is the Four of Wings. And as you can see, it says privacy. The Four of Wings is really about a moment of resting. Yes, losing a warrior. I see this card as the Four of Swords in the traditional deck. And that's when it's either like a fallen warrior or resting after a battle, recovery, going through a moment of suspension, taking a time out. And this is her wanting that privacy. But also, it also tells me a little bit about her personality and that she was a bit private as well. The next card that you see is fulfillment. And this is the challenge right now of having that emotional satisfaction. And the justice card, you know, feeling like an injustice happened and there were some things that came to light. I just want to stop here because I just want to say a few things that's coming up to me, okay? I feel like when it comes down to his energy, this man was able to coordinate many things by himself, okay? I feel like he had the ability to think on multiple levels. It's almost like when he sat down and took time for himself that his unconscious mind started to take over and ideas started to flow in out of nowhere for him. I feel like he is searching for inner guidance regarding inevitable in this fated situation. So it was totally unexpected. It was inevitable. It was something that was sort of out of his control, so to speak. And I feel like, again, he's searching for that inner guidance, feeling a bit scattered, not necessarily knowing where to fit in. I feel like his presence, let's talk about that. He really was meant to make an impact, and no one, I literally repeat, no one was able to take that away from him, okay? He was a believer that anyone could do it. He was very persistent, and he felt like without risk, there was no reward. And he took the risk and he worked and earned the reward. I feel like he continued the battle, and by battle we mean the complexities and the challenges of his career and throughout it, because it gave his life meaning. He was the type to challenge his own excellence. And I think that's really what's rare in people. When you start to challenge your own excellence, it's like, wait, hold on, okay? You really mean business. There was certain battles that he felt like he had to battle alone. And when I say that, I feel like he internalized, and there was a lot of things that he did keep to himself and keep within. He was among the legends. He is a legend. And I feel like he lived for his work and he specialized in what he loved. And he loved talking shop. He loved talking business. He felt like if you did the work, you would be successful. That's exactly what his MO was. Do the work, you'll be successful. It was that unwavering, I want to say, faith. Another thing I want to say is that he was sincerely happy about LeBron winning. I see him wanting to pay it forward and give credit where credit was due, and he felt like it was well deserved. It's weird because you know how you say teamwork make the dream work? I feel like he was the type to say hard work make the dream work. He really cared deeply about his legacy, and he really cared about what was best for humanity. He wanted to cultivate a talent so that it had an impact on the world, and he was very inquisitive. I feel like he fought through many incarnations, and he was a kid at heart. Forgive me, guys, because I'm not feeling well, and then at the same time I'm also feeling like certain emotions that's coming up, so I'm gonna hold it together to get through this. I will say this, I feel like his daughter was a reincarnation of him. I feel like they were one and the same. I feel like he wanted to give his children a life that he felt like was missing. Okay, there was something, a void in him that he wanted to fill, and I feel like after basketball, that was almost like his second chance. He saw parenting as the greatest challenge to overcome, and he had what you called a competitive touch. But it seems like to me that it was all love. I think that was what was interesting about his personality, of being very grounded and reserved, being able to compete, but still having that sense of humility and being humble in the process. Not saying that he didn't have his challenges. I do feel like he misses his family. And to be honest with you, I feel like he's confused. I do feel like Vanessa is very strong and she will get through this. Right now, this is sort of a time of like questioning things. And it's almost like when fate is being tested, or when your faith is being tested. I feel like she felt protected with him. And the two things that comes up to me was privacy and safety. That was something that was really important to them. That was something that was really valuable to them, especially when raising their children. As you can see, like the privacy card was one of the first things that popped up, and that was really big. I do feel like it's going to be ups and downs, because when she thinks it's okay, there's going to be another memory that comes to surface. It's going to come up. I do feel like he truly completed her. I feel like he was her world. And I will say that she was very satisfied with him. And I feel like he's going to send her really strong signs that he's still around spiritually. I do feel like she's going to have people offering her help. And it's going to take about 5 months to reach a level of coping, because within this 5-month time span, there's going to be a bit of an emotional roller coaster. There's like a lot of nostalgia coming up. I feel like April and May is going to be quite difficult for her emotionally. There will be some separation anxiety, some sleepless nights, some worrying, crying, and grieving. I do see her wanting to support the foundation and focus on what she is doing. So I do see her contributing to building a foundation, and this is going to be a really strong period over the next few years of her like finding her purpose and what she was brought here to do. And it does hurt, because something that brought her so much happiness and she worked effortlessly to build has her feeling the most pain. And it does, it feels like both pleasure and pain. I say pleasure because she knows that this man worked so hard to give her the world, and she takes pride even being able to say, you know, that's my husband, or that was my husband. They were best friends, lovers, and it is something that's painful to go through, okay? I do feel like she's going to be self-reliant, and she's going to deal with people with whom she trusts. Again, I feel like the next 4 months is going to be her finding her place in the world. It's going to be about making difficult decisions. I feel like she will follow her heart eventually. She will receive guidance in an unjust situation. I feel like she's being pushed to take a leap of faith and make sacrifices. I do see like that she is ambivalent about visiting the site, the crash site. I'm even picking up like talking about it hurts because it signifies the beginning and the end. It's almost like the alpha and the omega. So to her, visiting that site, again, like I said, represents the beginning and the end. The end of that chapter, the end of everything she knew that was her reality, and the beginning of that new reality and living life without him on the physical plane. They did have a very strong bond, a soul connection. I feel like she's feeling trapped and that things are stagnant at this time. She may be a little hard on herself, and that's that inner critic that's coming through. It's a lot of fear, a lot of self-doubt. There will be some blaming, a lot of legalities to deal with that's wrapped up in the mix of this. It's almost like wanting to avoid a decision. There will be a lot of gossip, false accusations going around. Again, it's going to be difficult for her to accept this new reality. It's difficult for her to think and to concentrate because there is a lot of worrying and anxiety around this. She does miss him dearly. I feel like her mind is like everywhere, like the scattered thoughts, scattered energy, and she's trying to put parts of herself together. It's that moment, you know, when you say, this can't be happening. She's going to be doing a lot of reevaluating, and there's going to be a lot of planning that's going to need rational thinking. I feel like, you know, there was a lot of things that she ignored, and she was keeping up with the status quo, or is trying to keep up with the status quo, or did that for so long. And I feel like she's gonna go through this period of like feeling ignored or feeling excluded, okay? Or let's say abandoned. Feeling as if things aren't the way it's supposed to be. She doesn't feel the same. This is like a loss of interest in things. There is a huge void. I do see her laying him down to rest. There's going to be a lot of soul searching. Everything's going to be in question. And this is like a moment of period where we say we can't take things for granted. It's a big wake-up call. And sometimes like we drift through life and we be so busy being happy that everyone else is happy. And now this is the time where she's going to have to move in a direction that resonates with her. She's going to have to find herself and dig deep, especially when it comes down to some personal truths. She may feel guided to change her image. I see her creating something personal, okay? I do feel like this is not something that happens overnight. I feel like she's going to be on better footing towards the end of the year. There's going to be a lot of self-care and self-healing that's going to be needed to move her through this period of uncertainty. In April, I feel like she's going to be thinking about their shared life experiences and how they faced adversity together. Other people around her is going to be able to help, you know, give her that nudge to make sure that she's not neglecting herself and her health. I do feel like some things in her home is custom made, or I feel like she will have something custom made. I do see that she's also going to be thinking about family traditions, so that's going to be really difficult. It's really hard because it's like her mind is telling her one thing and her heart is telling her something else. She is going to get vivid dreams And I feel like, again, he's going to make his appearances, and I'm saying appearances, known. This is something where he's going to come back in, and it's very swift. I feel like things happened so quickly. There was a lot of turbulence, and there's something about a phone call, because I keep getting like this phone call in my head. You know, he's saying, like, or what I'm picking up around this, the term fine wine. I feel like that's because it wasn't his way of only calling her beautiful. I felt like she had this effect on him, okay? And it was almost like the older they got, the more valuable she became to him, and his priorities started to change. And I feel like it was something that he appreciated more and more over time. And it was an experience, okay? It was something that brought a great deal of pleasure, and he was very proud, and she was really good for his ego. I do see her pondering, like, relocating. This will be to a beautiful place. There will be a bit of rivalry going on here, jealousy, and possibly even like manipulation that's going on, or the fear around like finances, okay? This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like in the next 8 years, she's going to have like a strong spiritual belief. And I do see a happy ending. I do see her spending a lot of time with her family, working on projects, watching movies, making food together. I'm seeing a happy child, again, a happy family, emotional harmony as she heals. So that's over a period of the next 8 years. It's really going to take time. It kind of gives me like that 8 of Cups vibe. And, you know, water signs take their time to heal. And that's sort of what I'm feeling like. When you love hard. And this is a process. Fox came up, so I just want to take a look at the spirit animal. Trust your intuition and be wary of someone you're involved with who's attempting to trick you in some way. Your intelligence and ingenuity are more useful right now than confrontation and righteousness. It's better for you to remain in the background and exert an influence from that position than to take an active leadership role. It's best to blend in your surroundings, move with stealth, and keep your intentions to yourself. It's important at this time to break out of your social conditioning and express yourself more freely. Listen and hear, look and see, sense and feel, trust your senses to guide. Don't let the negative things that others say about you affect you adversely. Plan for the future by storing up some of your supplies. Welcome the changes of season with behavior and attitude appropriate to that season. Right now, it's best to keep to yourself and not stand out. This is a good time to create space and time for a few hours of solitude. Speak your truth directly without explanation or qualification. Constancy, courage, and integrity are important for you to display right now. It's important to be flexible and adaptable using the resources you have immediately available. Let the fires of passion of your heart be expressed through some creative process. So she has 2 cards that came up, one of them being Magdalene herself came up, and the other one is confusion. So we're going to read both cards and see what it says. Magdalene, go forth and be true to yourself. Dare to be different, to make mistakes. Create, for it is in the creation that you exist. In a world full of dreams that stem from your heart. In oneness, love, and hatred. Wonder and awe, softness and pain, joy and light. In the stillness, the unknown awaits. A void wanting to be filled. Step into it with courage and strength. Like a budding rose, reaching for the light, love will lead you to greener pastures. Keep your pockets full of dreams, for life is a test of faith. Allow your light to shine. There is no beginning or end. There is only love. Now I'm going to read confusion. Conflicting thoughts regarding a major decision are causing you to feel confused. You may be feeling as if you don't know which way to turn at the moment. You feel unable to choose between that which you truly would love and that which you think you must do. At the heart of this issue lies a deep-seated sense of obligation to others. You are afraid that you might disappoint or hurt another by choosing what you love. The best course of action for you at this time is to take a few steps back. Don't place extra pressure on yourself by thinking that you must decide right now. Give yourself time. It's possible to take a short break away from it all. Bring some peace and quiet into your life, and over the coming days, things will be clearer. Your primary obligation is to honor what you truly feel in your heart. Others will understand in time. The fates come up. Fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. The oracle message for this card says the serenity prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over. The conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experiences may be fated, preordained by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and current circumstances have to teach you. This is the wisdom contained in this serenity prayer. It is difficult to understand why painful things happen to good people. Fate is a mystery, after all. Yet, what we do with our circumstances, the way in which we respond to life challenges, and how we rise up to greet our destiny. Now is one of those times to be aware of your powerlessness to change certain situations and surrender to acceptance. Hang in there. Life will only get better. Act as if you believe that, for the only thing you can control right now is your attitude. When you align with the fates, being mindful of what you can and cannot change, serenity will come to you. I feel like one of the things that I'm sensing is, despite how tired he was at times, he wanted to continue to pave and light the way forward for everyone else. Okay. And that was truly illuminating to him. And what I'm sensing is, because there's an essence here, and it's intensifying, is that there's going to be a story told. Now, whether this is a series, a movie, a documentary, it's something along that line, because it's visual and it's almost like an art piece, so to speak, like a sculpture. Like I'm seeing art being displayed and distributed, and I feel like his story is also going to be told, and of course it's going to be among like multiple networks. But with this card, it's really interesting, because many times things happen, and when it does and when it hits hard, it's almost like you feel like parts of you is fading away, and almost like how she is like pulling on a string. And so another thing that's coming up to me is that around the holidays is going to be a sensitive time for her as well. And I'm picking up more so like even around Christmas, and when it comes down to planning different things. And it's a lot of the times it's almost like she's going to see him in her children, and a lot of the times they saw one another in each other, because they've been together for so long that it was almost like twin vibes even within them as well. It's oddly enough like the Lover's card is right here, and when it's happened, it's like some telepathic energy happening. Oddly enough, we have the High Priestess here as well, you know. So it's that sense of like strong knowing. And again, there's going to be like a lot of questions that come up. Again, there's like a tattoo that's happening to show condolences. And also, I'm going to say this in the reading as well, my condolences to her, to the family, and to everyone that was affected by this, to everyone that was on the helicopter. And I just want to say that I know that this is not easy, and it's really hard during this time to stay optimistic, because I'm paying attention to the star, and it's kind of giving me the vibe of the Hermit card, and that's when you're doing a lot of soul searching, you're withdrawing. There's going to be some withdrawing and taking some time out and solitude to even try to understand things. And it's difficult to mask that, and almost feeling like you're sort of like at the end of your rope, right? Like it's really discouraging. But I feel like, and another thing that's coming up, it's going to be a lot of things that's going to remind her of him. And I feel like he did his best, like, to create so many memories and to instill a lot of things in her. And I feel like it was complimentary, like it was both ways. It's very like modern. I don't want to call it modern. It's like very antique. Like, so although he was a kid at heart, there was aspects to him that was like old school, that valued like unique things. He was very, I want to say cordial, and he liked to kind of like like pick your mind or pull at strings, or vice versa. Like you would want to pick his mind and pull at strings a little bit to see, and anything that you can get, you were thankful to take away from him, because it was very enlightening, and it made a person feel better. That encounter made people feel better. And that's another thing that I'm picking up as well. I'm also seeing like, it almost feels like a beach. Like her thinking about a particular, it's like a particular vacation that was really meaningful to them. And I almost see her wanting to revisit that place again in honor of him. During this difficult time, he was holding his daughter, and I feel like he was very selfless in that sense, where he cared more about everyone else on board, especially the children. And I feel like that's what weighed on his mind really heavily,